For those of you who are not familiar with Client Success, or you're just getting familiar with Client Success, we are a customer success management platform and more. Historically, we have been a solo platform, really helping customers, what we said, manage from new to renew, so that entire post-initial sales life cycle. But we are so much more than that. Over the past several months, if you've been following our journey, we've had a series of acquisitions, including one of my personal favorites, Baton. If you're not familiar with Baton, it is an onboarding solution, but so much more. I do encourage you, if you are somebody who leads onboarding, whether it's in your customer success function, you're part of an implementation team, take a peek at it. You will not be disappointed. We have been moving folks over to our solution for the past several months now, and the feedback is fantastic. So if you're interested in learning more about Baton, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. It will bring you to some more information and get a demo scheduled. So if you are interested, I definitely recommend you go check it out. Now, one more thing, because I would be remiss if I did not talk about this, but if you are not familiar with our CS100 Summit, now this event is a community event, okay? This is not a client success customer event. So you do not need to be a client success customer to take advantage of this event. Now, it is called CS100. If you are not familiar, it is limited to 100. Okay, that is why it is called CS100. It is intended and designed intentionally to be a very interactive, immersive experience where you are building real relationships and learning amongst your peers. Now, the best way I can describe this, it's like customer success camp. If you have never been to the mountains at the Sundance Resort in Utah, I promise you these pictures do not even do it justice. It is fantastic. So now you take all the beauty that is the mountains in Utah and you couple that with some of the best and brightest minds in customer success, and you get an amazing experience. So if you're not doing anything, September 22nd, 23rd, 24th, that is also my birthday, the 23rd, come celebrate my birthday with me on the mountains in Utah with 100 of my closest customer success leadership friends, and let's have a fantastic time. So this is a little bit about it. Scan the QR code. It'll bring you to our website to check it out, learn more. I will tell you, we do cap it. So if you are a CS leader and you do intend to join us, just know as soon as tickets are sold out, they are sold out. There is not extra room. So this is going to be capped. We already have a bunch of people who have registered. Go check out the speaker lineup, go see who's there. And then obviously if you're intending to go, we are still out. I think yesterday may have ended early bird special, but I don't know if it's changed on the website. So you might actually have an opportunity to take advantage of one more day of the early bird special, but go ahead and get your tickets booked. Would love to have you all come.
We'd like to welcome everybody to our Tuesday webinar series. My name is Dave Blake. I'm the founder and CEO of Client Success. I'm so excited to be with you today. I'm thrilled to welcome my colleague, Christy Falcherusso, who everybody knows. No need for introductions with Christy. She's well known to one of the top thought leaders, or the top, I think, in the world in customer success. A good friend and confidant and colleague in our team. She's our Chief Customer Officer, and we're grateful to have her. And I'm thrilled to welcome Bobby Cooper, who used to be here in Utah with me and in this ecosystem, and now is out in Bentonville, Arkansas. Bobby is a founder of Pillar, which is a customer experience architecture and best practices company, helping everything from automation to building and scaling your customer experience strategy to transforming your business through AI. So Bobby, we're thrilled to have you. How you doing today?
Great to be here. Always a pleasure, Dave. I got super excited when I got your text while I was out on my walk. Yeah, great to be here again.
Oh, good. It's good to have you, Christy. How's New York? How's Long
Less
Island today?
humid, which is so nice. The humidity is finally broken, which means my marathon training can continue outside, which is exciting.
Christy is an awesome marathoner. We follow her along.
We are trying. We're trying to get there. My first marathon.
Yep. And Bobby, out in Bentonville is the best mountain biker. Are you a mountain biker? Remind me.
I am a mountain biker. Yeah.
Some of the best mountain biking in the world in Bentonville, which is kind of cool. Well, we're excited today. We're going to have a really interesting dialogue on a really exciting topic. Today, we're talking about the evolution of a vice president of customer success role in the age of AI, and how AI is transforming the role and how we need to transform as customer success and customer experience leaders, and what the future looks like there. So what we want to do, as I said to all the attendees, we want you to be engaged. We have some very specific topics and questions that we're going to walk through. But honestly, I think the three of us, we want to engage with you as an audience. So if you have questions, if you want us to touch on a certain topic, or drop them in there, and we'll go with the flow with the audience. Does that sound good, Bobby and Christy?
Sounds great.
Okay. So let's start. I want to start for the first question. Bobby, I'll start with you and get Christy's take on it. You've worked with a ton of CS organizations over the years, and maybe you feel free to share a little bit about your experience. But as you think about your experience in all different stages of company and the success you've had, what do you think are the biggest shifts you're seeing now as we look to redefine the role of a CS leader today?
Yeah. I've been leading CS organizations for about 13 years now, and a lot has changed. And I think the biggest shift is, in the past, CS organizations were all made up of people, right? Your CS organization, you had CSMs, onboarders, you had your support and tech support team, you had pro service teams, whatnot, but you had teams of people. And in today's environment, today's economy, really, we're being forced to do things differently. And with the introduction of AI agents, leaders now have to manage these essentially hybrid teams where you do have specific roles on your team that are fulfilled by AI agents. And you've seen this a lot in LinkedIn, where people are posting their new org charts, and their org charts, it's a hybrid of human and AI agents.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest shift that we're seeing as far as leaders, is how to manage this your customer experience journey with this hybrid team.
Yeah. No, I love that. Christy, your thoughts?
So obviously I agree with Bobby. I think something else that we are starting to see, but maybe not enough of it just yet, is a need for just a redesign. Because yes, Bobby, to your point, right? We've got this blend, a healthy blend of these AI agents and people. But I feel like for a lot of organizations, they've kind of kept the same strategy in place and tried to figure out, how do we bring these two things together to execute the same strategy? Where my advice to folks would be, you got to rethink everything, right? Take it, rip it up, throw it out, and
Yeah.
sit in front of like a blank sheet of paper, and you have to reimagine things. And I feel like that's where this evolution needs to go. And I feel like a few people are already embracing that redesign mentality. And then others are just trying to figure out, right, like, how do I just operate more efficiently, more effectively, and optimize what we already have? So I would say, like, that's kind of the shift that we need to see more of, is kind of taking Bobby's, what he's seeing, and now, like, how do you kind of migrate that to this next phase of, like, all right, guys, yes, that kind of keeps things moving in the right direction. But while that's happening in parallel, like, there needs to be this mission around redesign and kind of rethinking things.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the way I like to put it, is we're changing a little bit from just being a people leader to really a systems architect. And when I say systems, we're not just talking about the systems, the software, but it's the entire system. It's the operating system of your customer experience.
I love this concept of an operating system for your customer experience. How do you, if that's what it takes, if it, so Chrissy's saying, hey, consider throwing everything out and starting from and reimagine everything from the ground up. Bobby, you're also saying you've got to look at a broader breadth. It's not just systems. It's not just it's people. It's everything. Um, let's go back to the leader. So will every leader be able to make that transformation? And what is if what is required for the modern leader in this day and age to make that jump? Is it assumed that if you're a VP of CS or that you can make that jump, or what is the effort? What's the change that a leader needs to look at? Maybe I'll have Christy start.
Oh gosh. All right, if I'm being very honest,
Yeah.
and I think we all need to be very honest with ourselves,
Yes,
right?
please.
Maybe not everyone is going to be able to make that transformation. I definitely, in conversations, I'm speaking with leaders who are all in on AI and educating themselves and enabling themselves and at the forefront of what is what the future will look like. And then there's other leaders that are, I don't want to say like ignoring it, um, but definitely are just kind of heads down and kind of keeping things going the way they are or have been. And so I definitely think you're going to see this kind of bifurcation of leaders and falling into two camps, maybe, and those who can be part of this transformative state that CS needs to go on, and maybe some that will ride the coattails of some of those early adopters and those early innovators. But change is hard, right? And so not
Yeah.
everyone is going to embrace it the same way and not as quickly. So I think folks that are investing in their education and understand what it's going to take and what the future could possibly look like and embracing that wholeheartedly and going all in will have a better likelihood of succeeding than those that are not.
Bobby, your thoughts? How if I'm a CS leader out there, what's the hard truth that I need to know to make sure that I can make this jump?
So, I've actually had a lot of consulting engagements over the last couple months with CS leaders asking the same question, and I've actually posted a lot on LinkedIn over the last little bit that has caused a lot of like, I don't want to say controversy, but people have been like, no, AI is not taking over CS, and I want to be clear, like AI is not killing CS at all, right? But
Yeah.
this is a new world that we have to live in. And one of the biggest things that like I've seen where leaders have failed is they want to embrace AI. And what that means to them was to buy a point solution, buy some AI tool, and turn it on and give to the team. But it didn't really have the thoughtful impact of that ecosystem, right? The overarching experience. So for I guess the advice to succeed in this new world is you have to educate yourself and deeply understand how AI is like the role that it is playing in the customer experience moving forward. And there's so much content out there for everybody to learn. It's about getting hands-on with what's out there, playing with it, get curious. Um, and just testing it out. Like there's so many tools out there to educate yourself. Um, you have to, I was thinking, I remember when I was an early leader in CS, a company called InsideSales.com about 10
Yeah.
years ago. Um, we were a predictive analytic tool. And I remember we had CSMs that didn't really have any type of analytic skills. Like they struggled doing some of the most basic functions in Excel. And we had to put these CSMs through training courses to get them to get to a level where they could match our customers. And I think that's what you have to look at. If your customers are evolving, you have to evolve with them.
Yeah.
So just like how there's always an evolution of tools along the way, evolution of technology along the way. You just have to keep up with it. You have to stay on top of it.
Yeah. I think one of the, I mean, I think I agree with both of you. Is embracing it and experimenting it with yourself. Like, I know one of the cool, and Christy and I do this all the time. We're experimenting with different solutions and ideas and how to leverage AI differently for all parts of our job all day long. Building our custom chat or GPTs and vibe coding and different things like that. That I think start to open the minds of like, what is a possibility and how can I as a leader harness the power of AI in my business. I believe that like AI is like the only limitation is our imagination, really. But sometimes we are not thinking outside the box enough in how we're leveraging AI for so many things, and it really seems like experimenting. So my advice for leaders is like you got to be experimenting with every type of tool that you can think of, all kinds of different AI tools, because it's going to open your mind for to be able to understand how you might use it. Christy, any other thoughts? I
Yeah,
can
I was
tell
just
you've
gonna say,
got
I do want
something.
to, because you
Yeah,
know us, we need to give
yeah,
practical, tactical advice to
yeah,
everybody who joins us so they have at least something that they can walk away with.
yeah,
So I'm just gonna say, like the volume of resources that are available. One of the things outside, Dave, you know this because we're always doing this, is like, yes, I have everything is $20 a month per like subscriptions, first of all. So I'm like, if you took $100 a month and really invested in yourself, you could have ChatGPT, Lovable, Replit, like get access to things that are going to give you
yeah,
the ability to be creative. But I will tell you, I have found access to so much fantastic content on every platform. So things like YouTube, which I will continue to advocate is maybe the best and greatest university out there. There is so much wonderful content. YouTube videos, go find the folks that are talking about it that are giving you live examples and follow along. Um, TikTok. I know this is like a little maybe not for everybody, but I'm a doom scroller, right? So like I will scroll and they give me 5-10 minute clips of videos that is easy for me to digest. I have found some of the most innovative AI creator, like content creators out there that are putting stuff on TikTok that are so little snippets that are digestible that just get me to think differently. And then obviously like webinars like this, right? There's just so many wonderful people that are out there really championing this change and trying to educate and uplevel everybody. So something that I have been personally committed to is I give 60 minutes a day. 60 minutes to read, watch, take a certification, play with a tool, try to build something, solve a problem, 1 hour a day, every single day, just to explore this so that I am not left behind.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll share some on mine. Like some are asking, how do you educate yourself? I know Bix asking this. What courses? What are good sources? Whether it's LinkedIn, Coursera, AI through universities. I'm like Christy. I'll give my tips. I like some of the podcasts, and I like some of the YouTube stuff that I can find. But I'm a hands-on learner, so I like use AI to teach me AI. And it's weird. I find myself using Claude to increase my capacity on ChatGPT and vice versa. And I'm asking it to teach me how to use itself, which is kind of an interesting way of learning. But I feel like I'm bouncing between different AI solutions to learn how to extend my capabilities in those solutions. And for me, there's nothing more impactful than actually just jumping in and doing it. So anyway, that's mine. Bobby, any advice that you have, specific tips of where to go or what you find helpful?
Yeah, very similar to you, Dave. I'm an operator at heart. I want to get curious. I don't just want to like learn about the tools. I want to use the tools, learn how to implement the tools.
Yeah,
Um, I am constantly, I mean, ChatGPT is like my counselor, my advisor. I do have an AI budget for myself that's quite large. I do buy a lot of tools just to build things for my own education to see how they work. Like
yeah,
if you've never built an autonomous agent to respond to your own emails or what it just figured out, like literally just talk to chat gpt,
yeah,
tell it the problems you want to solve. And I would always start there. Find a problem you want to solve, talk to chat gpt, have conversations with it, have it recommend a few solutions, buy them, implement two or three of them, understand the different nuances, how they connect. um and it's amazing the step by step. I've more, this will be for another webinar about the future of customer service. Um, uh, I don't even look at knowledge bases of anything anymore. It's
yeah,
literally just talking to Chat GPT and getting the knowledge,
yeah,
right? Um, and it's just doing it. Build something that may be completely useless, but it's for your own education.
yeah.
Um, I was at a conference not too long ago, and they somebody asked like to say this prompt into Chat GPT to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, your rate your ability to use AI in an effective manner, like asking this to Chat GPT. How well do you use Chat GPT on a scale 1 to 5?
Yeah.
And everybody was given, and I got like a 4.9, and I was like one of the best in the group, and I was like feeling all cool. And like I asked my wife to do the same thing, and she was the only person that got a 5 out of 5. And I'm like, what are
That's
you
awesome.
building? And then she was just like showing me the stuff that she's doing. And I'm like, it's amazing. You have to get curious,
Yeah,
tell it your problems, and then counsel with it through solutions.
yeah. No, I think there's a concept that I used to have in my web analytics days that a colleague taught me. It's called analytical momentum, which is like you need insights. Gaining insights will create more questions, which will also take you on a search for more insights. And this momentum, this flywheel is going. I think there's an AI momentum as well. Leveraging AI should and experimenting with all kinds of problems and ideas and opportunities will lead you to learn, and it will prompt you to more discovery of AI. And so I really encourage the team. What about a leader empowering their team? So obviously, a leader has to be completely confident, comfortable, and strategic about how they leverage AI in these days. But how do you empower your team? What are some practical tips to help your team make that jump? Any thoughts, Christy?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously, Dave, again, you're aware because we've got our members of
Yeah.
our team who are in all of these tools all the time.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, one thing we're just trying to do is get them to explore these things with every problem that they face, right? So, anything that they're struggling with to get done today, the challenge is for them to try to solve that with any other solution, right? So it could be ChatGPT and creating its own GPT. It could be solving something through vibe coding. And so I mentioned things like Lovable and Replit, and there's so many of these tools that are out there and available. It could be exploring how do we take creative advantage of the tech stack that we have today and leverage AI to facilitate these two tools working together or multiple tools. So I think it's just creating a safe space for them to explore and a mandate that solutions are inevitable. We just have to be able to have that creative freedom to go and do that. So I think that's part of it. I think the second thing is actually incentivizing them. And so we've seen a lot of teams that I have folks that I've talked to who do a great job of incentivizing creativity and who will encourage their teams, hey, go build something, then go bring it back to the team. Whoever has the coolest idea this week, you're getting a spiff, you get access to something, right? Like you get spotlighted in the organization. So I think it's trying to figure out what is also going to drive the motivations behind folks. It's sometimes not just innately built into everybody to go and explore and build and do these things. Everyone's busy, so this sometimes can feel like, oh, it's slowing me down or taking me away from other work that has to get done. But if you can kind of find out what their motivators are and celebrate their creativity and socialize it across the org, I think that you'll find that, to your point, Dave, right, more people will be willing to lean into that, but then also that creativity will spawn other ideas and people can go and build off of things. So I think that there's just this, you've got to create a space that's enabling folks to be creative and learn and build.
That's awesome. And Bobby, how about you?
Yeah, I'll actually just give an example of like maybe a failure moment. I love using those examples as learnings. I was recently working with a company on a few projects, and they wanted to implement a lot of AI into the organization, and they had implemented Glean. I don't know if anybody's used Glean. I love Glean. Um, but anyway, they implemented Glean and handed it out to all the managers, and like, here, we got this cool AI tool. It was really expensive. I think they spent like 70 grand on it. And like a month later, the Glean CSM did a little check-in and was like, you have like 3 people using it. No one's building prompts. There's only a few people building prompts. And what I realized was like when it was bought, it was just given out to the team and said, here, do stuff, right? And so the CSM actually did a great job. The Glean CSM did a great job of dialing in each departmental leader and essentially telling them essentially problems that it could solve, right? Um, I was kind of already a little bit of a super user of it, and I was used my example of like a couple of the problems that I solved. And like one was we didn't have an actual knowledge base for the company yet. And I showed that how really quickly I used Glean to create a fully robust knowledge base without using a technical writers. I just did a complete export of our entire HubSpot database, every customer conversation, wrote some prompts in Glean, uploaded this huge file, and had it take common customer questions and conversations and technical documentation, and it actually created a really, really robust knowledge base. But I think this was an example of as leaders, if you want to enable your teams to use AI, you have to be very deliberate about it. You need to use AI, you need to give them the right tools or direction on how it's going to improve their job, right? So after the CSM came in, he gave the team a lot of direction to, like, for example, like the SDR managers. Like, you can use Glean to analyze all of like the pitches, the decks, A/B test everything on the fly, and refine SDR language and process and everything really fast. And they went to the marketing team and whatnot. So I think it really, I think it's important that we give the team various tools because that's how they grow.
Yeah.
But you can't just give them tools and expect them to just magically create value. You have to be very deliberate. You buy tools so you get a creative lift out of that individual. You get a creative value out of your investment into whatever tool. So do it with a purpose in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all those ideas. A couple that I would add that we've done that I thought was that worked for our team. It's just an idea. We brought in for one of our offsites last year. I think it was about a year ago. Like a AI futurist who came in and educated the team on AI and really talked to us about the importance of prompts and introduced us to different tools and everything. And then after that, we did kind of a fun hackathon to come up with ideas and solutions that we could use AI to solve, which engaged the whole team and gave them a lot of excitement of the possibilities. And then I think it's like as Christy said, just empowering and embracing the experimentation that your CSMs or your team does. We have one CSM who's doing some really cool stuff right now and was like begging me, please just let me build the product by this idea. Please let us, today, like just because he's so passionate and he's done some experimentation and seen that customers are excited about the insights he's able to provide that are unique. And so it's really neat to see him and others across our organization take a little idea, experiment, get results, and have this passion to bring it forward to all of our customers. So those are some ideas. Want to shift gear? We talked about AI, this concept of AI in the org chart, and how does it fit in? Like, if you look at AI agents and this concept, which Bobby, I hadn't heard that as much about, like planning for AI agents in your org chart. Explain that concept to our audience there.
Yeah. So I think about it in the concept of jobs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, on a quarterly basis as a leader, you do organizational planning. You figure out like the goal, what are the goals of the business, the direction of the business, and then figure out the jobs to be done to be able to create that optimal customer experience to support the business's direction.
Mm-hmm.
And now it was the same thing in the past. Like you would create job recs to hire people to fulfill different jobs, or you just do training. So maybe you have a generalist team and not a specialist team. You hire more CSMs and then you train them to do specific jobs. So now, as we look at the jobs to be done, you have to be very deliberate on, can this job be done? Does it require a human, or can it be done effectively and efficiently with AI? Listen, there's a lot of AI tools out there that say they can do the job. It's not always the case, but there's a lot that does a really good job. So it's all about being very, very deliberate on how to get the job done. So what that looks like, it's the jobs may be shifting a little bit, right? And the way I look at it is, if it is a high touch, high value add interaction, I want that human to human interaction, right? I want the CSMs to have those precious moments with the customers because there's certain things AI can't do that humans can do, and you need to do that. But I think the biggest thing that I look at is, do I have a really like a highly paid CSM, a highly skilled CSM that's doing stuff that's like almost demeaning? Like, do I have a highly skilled CSM doing simple data entry work?
Yeah.
You know, one of my previous roles, we had all of our customers were dentists, and
Mm-hmm.
all of our CSMs were former dental hygienists,
Oh
which was
wow.
a really interesting thing because they were able to connect to the customer in such an intimate way. And there was this amazing bond between customer and CSM. But then I saw like 70% of their time was done doing like basic data entry and stuff like that. And I'm like, why are we hiring these people that go through all of this training and then having them do something else that's not value adding.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the jobs to be done. And if it can be done effectively with AI, you add an agent to do that job.
Yeah.
If it is better value to have a human do it, you have a human do that job. And you basically build that org chart around getting the job done based on your
I love it.
goals.
Yeah, the context of in coupling that with jobs to be done, it makes total sense. Like, what is like Chrissy? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this and any specific areas that you would say, hey, maybe this is an area where an agent might be the best solution?
So interesting. When I'm thinking about the org chart, I'm actually expanding way beyond just the scope of our operational function, right?
Yeah,
Because we could sit here and I can say like, yes, we can have AI go do X, Y, Z in customer success. But I think the more interesting thing is the democratization of the org chart as a whole. Like, think about it. I can do marketing. I have built product now. I can do math. So maybe I'm a finance person, it turns out, right? Like it's building, I mean, I'm building all of the things that I've wanted to learn in Excel. I do so quickly now with AI, writing all of my codes and all of the things and all of the cells to do all of the cool things I've always wanted to do. So I think the interesting thing now is everyone can do anything. So, how do you reimagine the broader org chart, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I don't just stay in customer success, right? Maybe there is these hybrid roles now because you're understanding that this person adds value in A and B. And so maybe now there's more cross-functional roles that live because
yeah,
customer marketing is something that would have historically lived in marketing or just under the customer marketing umbrella. But now you have a CSM who's extremely interested in marketing and now has the skills and can be facilitated and enabled with AI to go and lean into that. So now maybe you have this person who's the hybrid. I don't know.
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
when I think about this, I'm not even thinking about it for customer success. I'm like, the entire business needs to be reimagined. So when I said
Yeah,
earlier, crumple it up and throw out and like start from scratch, it's almost like the whole thing. It's not just customer success. And so I don't even want to be limited in thinking about what are all the cool things it could do to power me in CS. I'm like, how do I become 10x more valuable to the business? Because now I have greater purview and skills enabled and powered by this technology to go do things and see things differently. I don't know. Like I'm not
well,
even like I'm so far out of customer success now
yeah.
at this point.
Well, Christy, I mean, the example that I just shared with the senior member of our CS team who
Yeah.
had an idea, experimented with AI, and then went to Lovable Vibe Code, created a prototype product, like a mini
Yeah.
product, and said, "This is the power. Can I take this?" Now he's gone from CS to product and like wants to be this GM of this capability that he's so passionate about, which makes a lot of sense that our customers would love to do. And so you're right. It's like, how do we now we're beyond the normal boundaries of our role, trying to do more with AI to solve problems. At the end of the day, it's all about solving problems, right?
Right.
Across the function. So I love
And
that
so it's interesting when we think about like, everyone's still under the mandate of like do more with less. Well, now it's
Yeah.
like how much less? Like, can we scale back businesses even more than we had before because roles are different and just so evolved and like who are just the people that add value in different ways, right? Not just in their operational function. So I think the future is gonna be real interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think that I mean, maybe we'll shift that. Do you feel like there's some, again, who feel like um, AI is the demise of all the workflow force? And in CS, is that true? What are your thoughts? I certainly have some passionate feedback about it or thoughts about it, but do you feel like that AI is gonna to do away with many jobs in CS, or how do you look at it, Bobby? We'll start with you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a touchy subject, right? I'm a CS advocate. I'm a CSM advocate. I was a CSM myself, um, but the reality is AI is not necessarily replacing the customer success organization. but AI is continuing to excel at tasks and jobs that historically have fulfilled the CSM org chart.
Hmm.
So as AI continues to like evolve and do more and more and more, yes, it is going to be eating into that org chart because, quite frankly, it allows businesses to, well, there's a couple factors here we can talk about. It allows businesses to operate more effectively, more efficiently. The other maybe limiting factor um, is the customer willingness to engage with AI, right? This is actually a limiting factor. Intercom did produce a good research article, I think around like January, February this year. And like a year ago, um, it was only like about 50% of the customer base, the audience said that they were comfortable interacting with AI in a customer service environment. And then this year's thing, it was like 78% of customers said that they felt comfortable interacting with AI. So as the world becomes more and more trusting of AI, more and more comfortable using AI, and more comfortable with the fact that AI is here to stay, um, it will be more accepted, which will also then eat into the jobs to be done more and more.
Yeah.
I am a full believer there's still so much inherent value of having a one-to-one relationship with key customers that matters. But I've always said that relationship, we have to be very like honest, like what that relationship is. The customers aren't necessarily wanting a relationship. The best relationship isn't the customer and the CSM. I think the best relationship is the customer and the product.
Yeah.
And if the CSMs can figure out how to continue to hone in that to make that relationship so invaluable, better than AI, like that's how we retain
Yeah.
more humans in this world.
Yeah. Kirsty, your thoughts?
Okay. So I'm gonna have to step out of CS a little bit here, guys, again, because I feel like I've just spent so much time now reimagining, rethinking everything. So I think what's interesting, and Bobby, I think you have some thoughts on this too, but the entry level roles in any organization, right? So I mean, listen to this. You're seeing in consulting, for example, right? You've got all the top four consulting firms who are no longer or have reduced the number of entry level roles that they're hiring for consultants and analysts because they don't need them anymore, right? I think those jobs are down like 40-50%, that they're not hiring these entry level folks coming out of college because they don't need them. AI has replaced that. And we're going to continue to see that as a shift because, again, all the entry level opportunities are, maybe a little bit more of this like tasks and the activity based work and less strategic because, again, they're entry level. Well, how does that change the future for all of us in every world? Like, I mean, it's like, so folks who are trying to break into things, do they no longer have these opportunities because they can't come in because the work that an entry level person would have otherwise done is no longer available? Right. So I don't think about AI as like replacing certain jobs or certain functions in its entirety, but like, does it eliminate the possibility for folks who are looking to cross over and break into a new industry or new role? Because that job has now been eliminated. That opportunity
Yeah.
has gone away. So I think as I start to think about the jobs to be done and the work, like I'm thinking about it through that lens because what is the work, like how do we break down the work, right? If just strategic, are there different levels of strategic work, and then how do you enable folks who are breaking in to think about those opportunities, or how do you give them the skills to do that, or how do you allow them to develop some of that and get access to this? I don't know, I'm thinking about it in like a very disruptive future state of, well, what
Yeah.
does this mean for everybody?
Yeah, I think that's well said, Christy. The way I look at it is it's get it. I don't know that a human capital will go away, but it's going to force us to be more valuable, right? More
Yes.
strategic. It's like I don't. The future of a CSM is not tell me how my team is using your product because
Right.
AI can do that. It can find better insights than I can, but they will want to lean on me to understand how to in more strategic consultative ways. Here's my business problems. Help me solve this with solution sets. Help me to understand when I should leverage your product or not. Tell me what other customers are doing, and even some of those AI will eventually be able to share that information. So I think it's going to be, to me, it's going to be a force function for the general workforce to step up,
Right.
to be smarter, to be more strategic, and leverage AI in your role to be smarter and more strategic. That's the way I look at it. Sorry, the last thing I want to say is that I think that there'll also be shifts of humans to other jobs to be done. So, like, I did like what um, CEO of Salesforce. I just slipped my mind.
Yeah.
Mark Benioff. I'm so sorry. Mark Benioff said he's got human agents and he's got AI agents, or a human workforce and an AI workforce. And what he did is they were trying to, obviously they're pushing for their customer support agents, their, I forget what they call them, to do all the frontline customer support. And that dropped significantly the number of customer support reps that they have or that they're hiring. But what that enabled them to do was shift that human workforce over into sales.
Sales.
They
Yep.
don't need it in customer success, or excuse me, customer support, but now they can shift it over to sales and drive, because of the success over here, they're able to invest in human capital over in another area of the business, which will hopefully drive more revenue from cost center to revenue generating resources. And that's a smart way to think about it in our businesses. And how do we do that in our own roles? Reduce manual and repetitive stuff that we do every day so that we can spend time more doing the more value add activities that only we can do as humans each day with our customers. So just a few thoughts there. Any other
Okay, can I
last
ask you
thoughts?
guys both like a
Yeah.
very random question?
Yeah.
Let's see what you both say here. What's one job that you guys have thought of that AI cannot do? And it doesn't have
Okay.
to be in CS because mine is definitely not in CS, but I'm so curious to hear where your heads are going.
Okay. I think I've talked about like this my whole career of like the most important job of a CSM is to drive adoption and change management. And now we're not talking about just like saying, okay, drive adoption of your product, like push these buttons, right? It's integrating a product and a philosophy of your product into your business workflow. Okay. What does that look like? You have a customer, they have their vision of the world, they're building their business. You have your product or solution or service. You need that product, solution, or service to mean something to that contact. You have to get that customer to believe in you and to integrate your product or service into their day-to-day workflow. Um, it's not like a pop-up message, it's not an email, it's not some of those things. Can take some finesse. So that right there, now to be honest though, I'm working with a few companies, like a few startups that are trying to solve that problem, right?
Right.
When I do an engagement, so I do a lot of fractional work with companies as like a fractional CS leader, and I break my work down into like four areas, right? It's customer inbound work or reactive work, customer outbound and proactive value adding work, customer onboarding, and then customer operations. Um, the reactive stuff, I can squash that with AI in like 2 seconds. That's like the easiest thing to do, and it's been around for years, right? The ops is getting really good. Customer onboarding is improving, but that proactive value driving, which isn't just messaging, it's making that person give a damn about putting your workflow in place. That's hard to do, and I haven't found an AI product to do that. I know companies that are trying to solve that right now, but they haven't cracked the nut yet. And so that's like if I was a CSM right now, that's where I would make sure I'm spending the majority of my time to make sure my customers are implementing my product or service into their day-to-day workflow to the best of their ability and become absolute champions. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Like that's the thing that I think AI has not touched yet.
Dave?
I think there's an element of, and I'll put this in context. I think there's some element of human relationships in a lot of the work we do that people value. You know, I used to have this concept. We talked about this concept at Client Success as CS 2.0 back in the day, and it was like this EQ plus IQ. It's emotional quotient and emotional intelligence and human intelligence coupled with AI is the magic in CS. It's like I want to know in not in all cases, because some people you don't need human involvement, but in a lot of what we do, people still value that I have a relationship with somebody who cares about me beyond just the numbers, beyond just the ones and zeros, right? And really care about helping me achieve my objectives and can have all of the context, including the context of that we only can capture as humans of empathy and compassion and frustration and those types of things, and can help solve the problem. So I do think that there's some element of that will never be replaced. And I'd say just for me, I don't mind using AI until I'm frustrated or I just need somebody like I I need you to know me beyond the ones and zeros, beyond the data, right?
Yeah.
I need to know my situation and I need you to come to a solution that only a human can come to because a machine can't feel what I'm feeling. So, um, however, having said that, I always say that it's results over relationship. At the end of the day, my relationship isn't enough. I have to be able to
Yeah.
drive results and I have to be able to grab resources and pull in resources and people and technology and other things to provide this comprehensive solution to my customer's problem. So I don't know if that answers your question, Christy, but
No, I
I
mean, I think
don't
it's
think that will go
we
away.
all need to start thinking about this, right? And I think it's going to get harder and harder for us to imagine a world where AI cannot be additive. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not replacing, but it's definitely going to be an additive. So far, the only thing I have found is dog walking. So, AI cannot walk dogs. So I just needed a backup plan where I felt
That's going to
safe. And
happen.
so that I'm going all in on dog walking as a
I,
future.
Christy, no,
Tesla
there's going to be
robots, right?
robots that are going to walk your dog.
My dog barks at everything. There's no way my dog is voluntarily getting on a leash and letting a robot walk
No,
her.
they're going
Like
to
she's just
eventually
not.
your dog will get comfortable with the robot and
She's not even comfortable with my husband. She's
you'll
not
see.
getting comfortable with the robot.
Okay, that's good. All
Okay.
right. I'm looking at time. We got 10 minutes. I want to get to a couple of these questions that people have. And please, they're great questions. One is from Tito, and I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but how do you guys manage or handle the amount of content AI generates for you? Because it tends to generate tons of content and it can quickly become overwhelming. We'll do these quick answers here, quick fire round. So any
I'll
thoughts
just go
about
quick. I'm going to
handling
say
content?
specificity, right?
Yeah,
Like I think don't be broad in what you're asking it to solve for. Be so specific. Like the more dialed in you are on what it is that you're asking it for, I think you'll feel less overwhelmed with what the output is and it'll feel more actionable. So I have found that, what I think about prompt engineering, like the
yeah,
level of detail that I am putting into what my ask is. I mean, I will spend a half hour, 45 minutes just crafting a good solid prompt. And I'm okay with that because it's saving me hours on the back end. So my time is not spent doing the things, but designing the prompt to help me get those really good specific outputs, I think is well worth the time investment. And again, I don't feel overwhelmed because it's giving me exactly what I need to solve one problem in front of me. And honestly, that level of specificity is actually helping me get to better next steps and better actions anyway. When I feel like it's too broad, all that content is not actually actionable. It feels more theoretical.
all right, great answer. And Bobby, 30 seconds,
Pretty much
any
ditto.
additional?
Just tell it to make it concise. Tell it to give it a character limit. Ironically, I think there's somebody on this call, I already forgot his name, that pinged me and he's like, hey, I see you left a piece of your AI prompt in your LinkedIn description, because it basically had my LinkedIn description. It's like, here's the update under 2000 characters. Given your prompt a character limit. If you know you only have 3 minutes to read something and digest it, give it a character limit.
Yep.
And
Good.
that way it'll become very, very targeted to like the information you're getting.
Great answer. One suggestion: that's one of the best areas of investment in learning is prompt engineering. So if you haven't read content about that or watched a video or podcast, I would highly recommend that you do that because that's a core foundation of everything you do with AI. AI is how you prompt. Next question again, fast fire rounds, 30-second answers. Chris, our friend Chris, is asking if any of you use Manus or Grok. There are a lot of tools out there. Is any that you found that are more tailored to CS? Like, is there any that you found that's better for your job with in CS? I haven't heard of Manus. I've used Grok a little bit. Have you guys used any of those?
I haven't used either of those, so I'm just over here writing them down.
Grok's, and I may be saying it wrong. Grok is came from
Come
what's that?
Well, yeah, it's Twitter X.
Yeah, Twitter and X and those Elon Musk's version. It's actually in Tesla now, in our Tesla, which is kind of cool. But I've never used any of those. I personally don't know of any that are more tailored to CS or not. I think it's more about how you can train your own GPT to be more tailored to your role and your company and those types of things. That's what I found. Anybody else have any thoughts there?
Yeah, to that point, I think you hit it. It's not necessarily about the tool. A lot of them do very similar things. Sure, some are specialized in different things. It's about how you feed it. Like I use ChatGPT and I use Claude, and those are pretty much like the only two that I use for that. And they're for like Claude, I use for writing, and that's it. Um, ChatGPT, I have my own projects in there that I've fed with so much information over like the last couple years,
Yeah,
that it's my GPT, like it's me.
exactly.
So
Yep.
yeah.
All right. And David Leahy saw, hi, David. It's good to have you on here. He posted for everybody in chat a really good LinkedIn post that on prompt engineering. I'd refer everybody to that in the chat. Um, and we've got a question. We're seeing SaaS companies making a shift to vertical AI. How do CS professionals stay aligned with that shift? So, any thoughts of aligning with AI? Vertical shift to AI?
Are you talking about like vertically integrating your business around AI, or what? Can we expand on that?
Um, you know what? I'm not sure. This is just the questions. How do we making SaaS companies shift to vertical AI? Maybe just a more narrow use case of a specific vertical and their use of AI. Um, any thoughts on how we? I think that honestly, my thought was just that it would depend on if you're working in that you're a CS who's in a vertical. I think there is the depth of capacity in a vertical where you're more narrow in the context and content would be really important to understand if you're in a vertical space as a CSM. That's what I would just maybe answer in that regard. There's a question from our friend Thierry down in Brazil. He said, if we have more AI agents, who and how do we manage the AI agent? Who manages the AI agents? If we have all these agents, who's the person who's managing the agents?
Ooh, can I take this one?
Yes.
Go.
All right. Who is this? Terry in Brazil to the
Yes.
ball.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually had a question, and I had a list of questions for our conversation today. We didn't get
Yeah.
down to because I wrote a lot, but one of them was talking about performance management of AI agents, and this
Yeah.
is a real thing, and I think I might post on that maybe tomorrow. Um, you have to performance manage your AI agents just like a human, right? You build your AI agents for a purpose to do a specific job. Well, you have to make sure the job description's there. You have to make sure there's measurable KPIs. You have to make sure it's working efficiently, that it's not breaking, that it's giving correct outputs and stuff like that. And this is when it comes down to it, this is the title of this session, is really the evolution of the job of the VP of CS. I look at the VP of CS evolving into more of a systems architect and less of just a people manager. I believe the just like the VP of CS is managing the CSMs, performance managing CSMs, I believe it has to performance manage the AI agents that's on their team. So that's my I implore every CS leader to learn AI and learn how to manage it and build it and correct it and iterate on it. So
Right. That I love that concept. I've never heard about it. I think that's super innovative and thoughtful, Bobby, to consider that. Um, Melissa has a question. It's directed to me. I'll answer that. It's like, Dave, what are the titles of the books on your desk behind you? Any that you'd recommend? I'll share three real quick. Um, One I just got from our friend Niels Vigna, who's been in this space. It's The Path to the Pinnacle. It's about kind of operating systems with leadership teams and how to align with, as a leadership team, unite around execution. I just got this in the mail from Nils yesterday, so shout out to him. This is good. Appreciate him sending that. This one, The Advantage, similar topics, these two. If you're a leader or on a part of a leadership team, I think these are both good. But the one I'm going to really emphasize actually is farthest from AI. And this is How Will You Measure Your Life? Classic book from Clayton Christensen, one of the greatest thought leaders in business. And it's everything other than AI. It's about like you as a human and how will you measure your life, and applies it to your decisions in business. So highly recommend that one. That's not AI specific, but super impactful. So thanks for the question, Melissa. We are out of time today. Let's Christy, let's have you give any thoughts again, as on the topic around evolving as a leader in the age of AI. Any parting words of wisdom?
Yep, I would just say and encourage everybody to lean in. Don't be afraid of it. I think that this is an opportunity for us to all like grow and evolve in a space that's ever changing. And so invest the time in yourself, in your people to just start learning. Learn as much as you can, and carve out the time to do that. Like I said, I give myself 60 minutes a day. I learn somewhere, and it is the best hour used of my day every day. So I would just encourage everybody to lean in and really invest in learning.
Awesome. Thanks, Christy. Great advice. And Bobby, tell us your parting advice.
yeah, it's just really it's about embrace it, right? Embrace it. This is a change just like dozens of changes that we've experienced over the last 10 years, right? There's always changes that you have to adapt and learn and change. Um and embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Learn about it. That's how you'll educate yourself. If you want to chat about it, I'm also just happy to chat.
Yeah, where can they find you, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, you hit me up on LinkedIn, Bobby Cooper. Go to my business website, pillarcx.com. My Calendly is open on my website. You can go and book a time with me. Love to just chat. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Just love to chat too. So,
All right, Bobby. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's always fun to hang out with you and learn from your experience and thought leadership. And Christy, always a pleasure. We get to hang out every day, so that's a pleasure for us. But everybody for joining us, we thank you for joining us. This has been a fun session. And I just want to remind you that to come back here every Tuesday. We try
Yes.
to have webinar every Tuesday. Christy, remind the
We've
tell the
got Rachel Provin.
yeah.
Rachel Provin is joining us on the 29th. So same time, different place. We'll give you a new place to go ahead and register. But Rachel will be joining us. And so I will be posting and sharing about the topic. So look out for that on social media and in email. Please make some time to continue to invest in your own learning and growth. These webinars are a great opportunity for you to do that. We always try to bring thoughtful leaders who are going to bring practical and tactical advice. So please come back next Tuesday. And until then, we'll hopefully see you there, but have a great week.
Yeah, quick shout out. One other thing, if you want it, is look at our CS 100 Summit. That's coming up
Yes.
September 22nd through 24th. Bobby's been there, I think. It's amazing. Great content, great speakers, great fun, and great networking. So watch for our CS 100 Summit if you're a customer success leader. And until next time, thanks for joining us. It's always fun to hang out with you. Have a great week.
Bye,
See you,
everyone.
everyone.
thanks everyone.